All right, Facebook is still loading. Well, we are live on Twitter. I can see people coming in. Welcome. Tell me where you're joining us from. Cindy, welcome. Hetty Lee, welcome. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Welcome. We're going to wait a little bit until at least one room has got 100 people. Then we will start. Just tell me where you're joining us from. Tokozo, welcome. Kahiso, welcome. Are you guys on a break? Are you on varsity break now? Libra, welcome. From Pretoria, welcome. Is that University of Pretoria? Tabo, welcome. Dumela Musane Mkhole, thank you for coming back. Welcome. Twitter, welcome. Welcome on Twitter. Facebook, welcome. Call your nieces, your brothers, your sisters, your nephews, everyone studying at university. Tell them to join us. I can see people from Namibia joining us. Welcome from Namibia, Abu Dhabi, Musale Mkhole, welcome. Thank you. CPUT in the house, welcome. Junior from Vets, welcome. Joining us on Twitter. Clement, welcome. Hlonipani at Vets, welcome. Loved Mtinkulu from Vets, welcome. Vets PGA doesn't join anymore. Rochester House, UCT, welcome. Rockefellers from Cape Town, Sandy, welcome. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Welcome from Bloemfontein is in the house. Kronstadt in the house. UKZN. UKZN. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you. Joining us from Fishhook, welcome. Welcome, welcome, Prue, welcome. Welcome, Ruzani, welcome. Greetings from Vets, welcome. Vetsies, Wusu is here. Victor from UP, Amanda from UJ in the house, welcome. Polokwani in the house. King Williamstown is here, welcome, guys. UJ, I can see orange everywhere. University of Venda is here, welcome. Dosi D, I can see you. Tsepi from Harvard, welcome, Tsepi, welcome. Khama Semula, Limpopo, Limps, Khama Semula, welcome. Krina from UCT, welcome. Welcome, guys, welcome. Miss Maureen, Momo, welcome. The Pastor Squad leadership in the house. UCT, Real Nella, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. UCT kids, yes, man, I missed you, man. You're back. The campus is alive again. Hey, Pefi, welcome. Joining me from Vega, Johannesburg, welcome. And wow, University of Lagos, Nigeria, Unilag, welcome. Welcome, guys. Tembisa in the house, welcome. Let's see, we're almost there. Prue is going to be joining us now. UCT is in the house, Neti, welcome. Sekunda, hello, welcome from Sekunda, welcome. And people on Facebook, welcome as well. All right, I think we've got almost enough people in the house. From UFS, welcome. Nairobi, Kenya, welcome. CPUT, welcome. UJ here from Twitter. Charles, welcome. Sambil, it's good to see you. Good to see you. I can see orange. Welcome to me, welcome. All right, so today we're talking about how to strategically manage your studies. We're talking with Prim. Of course, Prim is one of the best people to talk about this matter with, because Prim managed to start at UCT with her undergrad until she did her PhD, and now she's got her PhD and she's a teaching assistant in politics. She's of course a scholar in international relations, and she'll talk to us. I'm going to ask her a little bit about her profile, and so that we know what we're talking about, and then she'll talk to us about how she managed her studies, because many people, when they start with their undergrad, they're wondering, can they ever finish in 4 years or in 3 years? I can see people from Zimbabwe joining us. Nancy, welcome. You're studying at UCT, welcome. So you should know Prue. Welcome, good day. Groteski residents, welcome. Welcome, Tefo, welcome. You all welcome. I can see Debonites are here. And people from Nelspruit, from Mpumalanga in the house. We've got people from Namibia, from Kenya, from Nigeria, from Abu Dhabi. And here, UCT students and staff colleagues, APG, Ops, they're all here. Yeah, I can see all of you. So, if Prim is in the house, I'm going to ask Prim to ask me ask me to invite her on, because I would like us to start with Prim. Let me just check if she's here. Prim is originally from Zimbabwe. People of Gqeberha are also here. UNISA student, welcome UNISA. UNISA in the house, welcome. Welcome. There's Prim. Prim is in the house. So good to see you guys. I'm sorry that we couldn't talk to you last week because we were, as you know, here in Cape Town, we were managing a crisis of the fire. But we really appreciate your support, the love that you have shown us as we are managing this fire situation. We will recover. Definitely, we will recover. So, Prim, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well, very well, very well. All right, I'm trying to see whether you changed anything about the setup. I can see a little bit of your roof. Try to keep the phone a little straight. Ah, nice, 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 nice. Fantastic.
Perfect.
Prim,
Yes.
I was trying to give people a little bit about you, but then I thought you are here, you will talk to it yourself. I mean, you have an amazing trajectory at university. When did you come to UCT? Which year?
I came to UCT in 2012 to start my Bachelor of Social Science.
Bachelor of Social Science. And how many years did you take to complete your Bachelor of Social Science?
So fortunately for me, I managed to do it in the minimum of 3 years
Okay.
before proceeding to honors.
And then so you after that you immediately went to your honors.
Yes.
And your honors was in international relations.
No, so interestingly, my honors was in gender and transformation. And then I was like, no, this is not what I'm here for. And then for my master's, I then moved back to international relations.
Ah, so you did an honors in gender and then masters you went into international relations. Okay, and you
Yes.
didn't have a break. You did honors for 1 year or for 2 years?
I did my honors for 1 year and
Okay.
then immediately went to my master's in 2016.
Okay, and did your masters for 1 year, 2 years?
I did it in 1 year, coursework and dissertation.
Your PhD. You immediately
So,
went to PhD.
no, that's when I realized I needed a break. So after doing my master's in 2016, I took a break to go work, and also I think 1 year I was resting at home. So I came back in 2018 and then finished in 2020 in 3 years.
Wow. Okay, Prim, you are a daughter goals, man.
Thank you.
I mean, every parent is listening to this and thinking, wow, cost shower of note. I can see Karabu is also saying that, cost shower. You are a cost shower of note. I mean, you get to do it minimum time you leave, you go next. I mean, you are the best person to talk to us about how to strategically manage your studies, because clearly you had to think about that. I mean, I have to say, by the way, you're a cost shower, but you still can do makeup. Your makeup is on point. Your earrings are on point. So here you are. You've got style. You've got you making time for your studies. I mean, you clearly, it's like socially you are also with us. So I want you today in this hour, you really have to clue us in as to how do you balance all these balls that are flying around and make sure that none of them falls through the cracks. Of course, and I'm sure I'm gonna pack this one that you think about it as well, because there's often Monde who comes on as we talk to cost showers like yourself, who says, what about Mjolo? So at some stage, you must be ready to tell us, so did you pack Mjolo?
I'll definitely be ready to answer that one.
So that we know how do we manage that. Okay, so tell me, so you when you started your undergrad, by the way, Prim, if you don't want to answer a question, you should just let me know. How old were you when you started your undergrad?
I was 19 years old when I enrolled in January, but turning 20 in that same year.
All right. Okay, so it's sort of similar age group with many people come to varsity at 18 going to 19 or 19 going to 20. Did you have a gap year after your A levels in Zim? You are from Zim, right?
Yes.
Okay. So did you have a gap year after your A levels?
Yes, so after high school, I did take sort of like a gap because I finished earlier and then I couldn't come in 2011 because of waiting for results. So definitely there was a huge gap between high school and then starting my undergraduate studies.
Okay, and did you plan it? What did you do in that gap between your high school and university? I'm just trying to see so that people know where did you do something that prepared you for university?
Oh, definitely. So I was always on the UCT websites. When I got my handbooks, I was going through them. Like I knew what majors were. I knew how I was going to, choose courses. And also because I already had an idea that I was going to do international relations, I spoke to people in the area. And fortunately, there were people to guide me to say, don't just study this, try to do maybe courses on public policy, try and maybe take languages and get something that is more marketable. And also I had very good advisors who told me about how I needed to try and do extracurricular activities that were also linked to my studies. So you'll see that by the time I came to UCT, I joined societies such as UNASA, which was a UN Association of South Africa. And I also made sure that I tried to stay in touch with things that I loved. So I'm naturally a writer, and I tried now to write my thoughts on what I would see on TV, on political reports, and stuff like that. So I think I stayed in touch with what I wanted to do, especially because I had a background in that. But I spent most of that gap year, playing with my siblings. I worked as a waitress in a restaurant. Yeah, interesting experiences. And by the time I came to UCT, I think I packed my proper suitcase for Cape Town, in November 2011, even though I came in January. So I was ready.
You were ready. You were ready. And in terms of your writing, you went through high school with that love for writing.
Yes.
So did you start a blog, or were you just writing in a book and leaving your writing there? Did you start a blog then?
So back then, I didn't really have a blog. I think that's when I started. I have a Facebook page, and when I started my Twitter, where I would just share my thoughts, share little pieces of what I was writing. But developing my work into a blog, that's something I did way into university because back then I didn't even know people would, do blogs online.
Okay. And then you landed in South Africa, in Cape Town. You had been to Cape Town before, or was it the first time?
I had been to Cape Town before.
Okay.
So I found out about UCT when I was still doing my high school studies. And because of that gap year period I had, I heard about the NBTs, and I was like to my parents, I want to go to South Africa to write NBTs. They're happening in August. And they're like, you want to go to Cape Town? I'm like, yeah. So I got onto a bus, came here from Joburg, saw UCT, wrote the NBTs, got a feel of what it's like to be in a lecture theatre. Okay. And obviously the NBTs were also like a wake-up call in terms of the marks.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I still got a firm offer, right? That's what they call it, yes.
Yeah.
So I did manage to see UCT and Cape Town before coming.
And Bachelor of Social Science was your first choice?
Yes.
Great. And then you say you joined UNASA. During all week, there are many societies. There's the IKEs, there's this, there's that. Everybody, of course, joins the IKEs. They have to. I'm the patron. You must all join.
I fell into that trap too. Definitely did.
Why do you guys call joining the IKEs a trap? If it's a trap, it's the Vice Chancellor trap, because I want all of you to join the IKEs. Okay. Awesome. And once you join, once an IKE, always an IKE, always.
Yes, definitely.
But then you chose things like UNASA. Did you know about it before you came to UCT, or you knew about the United Nations, or did you have time to read through every society and then decide I'm going to join these? And also, how many societies did you join?
All right. So I knew that there are model UN clubs in different places. I was actually a president of one, actually founder of one at my previous high school.
Okay.
So I was like, if there is no model UN society at UCT, I'm also gonna start one thing. But then I got here
Yeah.
and UNESCO was already in place. So that was a no-brainer when I saw them, and because they have sort of like a UN emblem on their flag. And then obviously Ikes, we saw these cheerleaders, we saw the amazing rugby players. I was just like, I'm in, give me that nice vest, you know? Um, another society which I joined back then, I think I only joined sort of like a campus, I think it was a Y society, a religious organization. That's those are the only two that I joined, like initially when I came to UCT.
Oh, that's good because many first years will join 8 or 10, they don't know which one, and so you joined only 3. Is that part of the strategy or it wasn't? I mean, did you have a strategy in terms of?
Initially, it was part of the strategy, especially with the UNASA. Like that was very deliberate, you know. So definitely, it was part of the strategy. I mean, obviously with Ikes, I was compelled to be like, I want to watch rugby games, you know, I want to be part of UCT because they had this vibe. And I think initially in the first few months of campus, that really helped. So it's also not a major regret. Yes.
All right. And then you start the semester. You are all first years. Do you start the year with a strategy or did the strategy emerge as you were going on?
So I started my year with a strategy, but unfortunately, the strategy was fear driven. So someone at orientation was like, with these degrees, aim for 65% so that you can graduate. So I was like, okay, it's fine. I'll try and get 65%, so that I get the degree. And so most of the time when I was doing my assignments, I was just like aiming for the bare minimum, right? And obviously I aimed to pass. Then one of my friends was like, the Golden Key has invited me. I'm on Dean's list. And I'm like, oh, wow. What are those things? So now she's at the cream of the stream. And I'm like, no, man. Like, what's this? How did you do this? You know?
Yeah.
And so I think one thing that I needed to adjust was not just to aim to pass, because I would literally look at what is in the course outline, what is the little that I can write and do, and then like finish off and move on. But realize that wasn't in line with me being an excellent person. So from there, I obviously realized like I need to go back, you know, to the drawing board. That's when I started reading the comments that were on my essays. I started approaching tutors to say, I think I need help with this. I had heard about mentors. I was like, to the politics department, I want a mentor. I heard you have mentors for first years. And from then on, I was able to sort of like now follow this path to say, I'm not only here to be academically fit and survive, but I want to excel.
Aha. So that came after you spoke to your friend. That's before the end of the first semester.
Yes.
All right. And that friend was also doing were they an older student, a second year student, or?
No, they're actually in first year. Just that I think she was doing English, classics, like something different, but we were still in the same faculty and same residence. We used to have dinner together in the dining hall. Yes.
But then Golden Key only comes at the end, though, at the end of the semester and the Dean's List, or they knew about that stuff before. They were working towards the Dean's List and the Golden Key stuff. So they had heard about that stuff before.
Definitely.
Aha. So your advice to first years would be, don't just strive to survive and just pass. Aim higher. Many first years don't know about Golden Key and Dean's List. Should we tell them though, Prim? Are we not scaring them? Should we tell them at first year, like when they come, that there's this, you can get it?
I think obviously, like I was told that people struggle. So if you're getting a certain grade, like your 65s, you're fine. That wasn't too good. I do think people need to be told that university is different from high school. You might find yourself getting lower than what you expected. Try and leave some room for disappointment, but disappointment with the aim to improve. So for example, by the time I now looked at feedback on assignments, when I now was asking questions to be like, how can I improve? It was that realization to say that, yes, I got this today, but I'm not going to stay at this level. So I think it is also nice to tell people that you should aspire to be, part of the cream. We do have a dean's list and whatnot. And also I think to be realistic for most people, if you want to end up doing honors or postgraduate studies, you have to aim to be a master in your field. Like you can't just scrape through, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk more, but for example, myself, I hated theories. And you can't be a social scientist hating theories. Yes. So the content was there in the course outlines. It was being taught in class when I was attentive. But when I was writing my assignments, I just chose to use examples and then give surface critique, scrape through the theories and forget about it. But not putting effort there literally cost me a grade range. I think, from where the 60s to 70s or 50s to the next range. So that was important to realize that everyone should aim to be an expert in their field. Aim to leave UCT being a master of what you're doing, and then you can do so much better. So you need to put in that extra work. And also another thing I think we should tell people when they're coming through to university, especially these days, we've got access to online content from your field and whatnot. Try also to look at what have experts in your field before or like now during contemporary times. What are they writing? What are they saying? What are they doing? Because even though our course outlines are designed by lecturers to focus on specific things, you'll find that the moment that you write examples or information that is out there, they actually credit you more. They give you more marks because you have knowledge that is beyond what has been provided in the course outline. So you also get credit for that creativity in your research projects, in your essays, and other work.
I see people are saying we should indeed tell them. And it's exactly what you're saying, that we should not only tell them that it's going to be tough and you can only get, work towards 65. We should also tell them there are people who are who are in the cream, and you can be one of them, and this is how you become one of them. Because that's what inspired you. But it didn't only inspire you, it also made you focus on things that matter in the courses that you're doing. To realize that theory, the idea that you hate it, doesn't work. And also to start looking at the comments. I mean, many students, they get a mark from their essays and they don't look at the comments that are written. So that's very useful. That's very useful advice. I'm trying to figure out someone who's sitting here saying, okay, I want to manage my studies strategically. I want to get to be on the dean's list. So first of all, I must figure out what does it take. I want to be on the golden key. Maybe can you explain to people what's golden key? You are a golden key, right, Trim?
I was an undergraduate. I think in postgrad, they stopped sending you those emails to join and whatnot. So that's something I last saw, I think, in my honors year. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
But can you explain to people what's golden key? Because there are people who are probably joining us. They don't know. How do you get to become golden key?
So what happens is that Golden Key it's an honors society, and it usually, I think they get information on students that are in the top of their faculties. I think at UCT, usually, if you're earning at least 70 average, that's your grade point average, the GPA.
I think it's top 15% of performance, yeah. Yes. So even if you're getting 70, but if you are below the 15% top, then you're tough.
Yeah.
Tough. Yeah.
So usually they invite you, you join, they host events where, we speak about further shepherding your excellence, as well as promoting this idea that we need to go back out there, discuss with other students how to go into it. You get networking opportunities to meet some individuals from different faculties or fields of study. And it's also I think it's a way of acknowledging yourself. And I think it's very good because then it keeps you aiming to gain awards. Literally, I was now able to be this semester, I must at least get one award here. I must at least be able to do this. And it was something that I really looked forward to.
Yeah, and that's it's a good motivation because you are in a group with people who are top performers like yourself from different faculties. And by the way, it's not only at UCTs or in universities all over the world.
Yes.
the top 15%, top performing 15% in your class. That's the group that gets involved, and you go only by invitation. And then Dean's List, how does it work in your faculty? How did it work in your faculty? How did you get on?
So in the Faculty of Humanities, so after I found out, actually what happened is I now strive to get at least 70 for each course, but you realize that there's some courses where really it's a struggle.
Yeah.
And so when I was doing my assignments, I'd literally be like, I know probably going to get more marks here in the history one. So try and like put a little bit more effort there, so that I can balance out my marks. Unfortunately, end of first year, I landed at 68. So I didn't make it to that 70% average that is required. I was hacked, but I was a little bit relieved because in residence, they looked at Dean's List every semester. So I actually did get like the 70% I'd gained from my second semester, like at Grassa Michelle, they were like encouragement. Next year, then I made it onto the faculty one where you get to meet the dean at an event. And also, you get all these motivational and inspiring speeches. For a day, you feel like you're the best people at UCT because, I mean, in the whole humanities faculty, there's thousands of us, and here you are being acknowledged and honored for your efforts. Yeah. So I really found that to be helpful. I also made friends at such, functions who are still friends to this day. So I really feel that it was a very good thing. And if you aim to get at least an average of 70% for all your courses within a year in the humanities faculty, you will be able to get onto the Dean's List.
Yeah. So it's worth working towards. I mean, it's worth working towards. I see someone says, how is Golden Key beneficial? But I think you explained. I mean, people don't realize even just being in the right circle with people. I mean, that motivation of being just with the right people. And you think it's going to end here. Those people that are in the circle with, some of them are going to be CEOs, some of them are going to be ministers and this. Many years from now, you will still have that connection that you met in Golden Key. And by the way, just in case people don't notice, I see Zion Lioness is the one who says, what's the benefit? You write it in your CV. Yes, you do. That you're a member of the Golden Key because it announces you. The next time you apply for an opportunity, whatever, it's clear that you were invited to the Golden Key when you're doing second year or first year or whenever. So it is not trivial. I just want people to know that. Even the Dean's List, it's stuff that you write in your CV. Of course, you will get many other honors and some honors will seem less important than others, but it is very important. I got an honorary membership of Golden Key. I write it, and I've got so many honors, but I write it. So you work for it. You're going to write it. Don't disregard it. People think it's not important. How about the strategy to balance the many balls that I talked about? So there's the social, there's the political, there's the academic. How do you manage to do all of this as an undergrad?
Okay, before I go there, I just also want to add, Dean's List stays on your transcript. Like it's there. For each year that you've got the Dean's academic merit, it's there on your transcript. So that's also a good thing. It just speaks to whoever is looking at your transcript and tells them you were on top of your game throughout the year.
Yeah, and you're right, Prim. And it's not only just to say you were just good. You were on top of the class.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I think
all right.
That's very important.
So now let me move on to balance. I think in undergrad, I was so fortunate because like the second year, which for me, I think was the best year, I had now embraced the idea that I now know that I need to know more theories. And also what I did was, I don't know if it was being clever. I went to those people that were getting the good grades and I'll be like, can I please just come to your room? Can I sit and just read your essay in front of you? There won't be any plagiarism because you're literally here. Like, then I would do that, I joined group discussions where I tried to participate, Sometimes, with group work, it's a bit different. But if you see that it's productive, then you join that crew and then move on. But the one other thing I realized is that sometimes people actually don't share everything they know, especially examples, because they want to beat you to it. So if you don't do individual study, by yourself, you know, or if you don't do consultations with lecturers or tutors, there's some information that you will never know. So one of the things I tried to do was I would write drafts or outlines, send them to my tutor, or just speak to them about my ideas, because usually people can't help you if you don't have anything. So they want to know what you know so far, and then you can pick their brain and then they add on. So then I was very active academically, like to seek out assistance. And then socially, first year, actually, I did nothing. I did not see Longstreet. I think I had gone to Claremont or something. So in my second year, I was like, I'm going to do all these things.
So
I don't know how.
Wait, you didn't see Longstreet, you didn't do any social because you were studying throughout over the weekend and stuff like that?
Well, not
You were,
even. I feel like sometimes you'll be sleeping in your room because you just want to rest,
okay, okay.
or just chilling with your friends outside on the lawns, eating, having a picnic, and whatnot.
But was it a deliberate decision that I'm not going to go to Longstreet? Or it just happened, the year went past and you found that I haven't gone to Longstreet?
It was deliberate. So first of all, when I came to university, my parents were like, can you see this brochure? It shows your residence. It's so beautiful. You're
Yeah.
not going there to not be in your room. You're going there to be in your room to study. And also for me, my father was like, I'm working so hard so that you go and learn. If I'm not drinking, then you go to Cape Town and you're drinking my money. Does that even make sense? You know, those things.
Yeah.
Literally, I had their voices throughout my first year. And so even by the time I decided I was going to do these things, I was now doing like side hustles so that I'm like, okay, I'm using my own money. So I can do these. Yes.
Okay, okay. So and then you started socializing a little more outside campus in second year.
Yes.
But at that time now you introduced something, you introduced side hustles.
Yes.
What was the side hustle that you were doing?
So there was this office at UCT, they were looking for student support officers, and it was like a good hourly pay, you know, just a
Okay.
few shifts during the day, and then that's what I joined. I managed to get in. So I was working within campus.
Okay. So you're working within campus and then you decided to be a little more active in the social clubs in UNASA, I guess. Were you ever on the committee of UNASA second year?
So during my second year, I ran for the committee. I lost. Fortunately, in my third year, I managed to get onto the committee. So I was the director for the UN simulation we had in September of 2014. So we hosted different universities from South Africa, and I was the head academic chair of that.
Okay, all right. So each year you introduce something. That being in a committee came in third year. In second year, you had a high side hustle coming in. And that's the same year that you got then admitted to Golden Key and being on the Dean's list. It's happened in second year.
Yes.
All right. What else did you fit in your strategy? I mean, I'm trying to figure out what makes a strategy work. I mean, it's being intentional about what you do and not do. Not whether it's joining societies or not, you've got to be clear about this is what I'm going to do and not do. Working deliberately towards being on the Dean's list and being on the Golden Key, and not just thinking that it's going to happen. But and doing that, you've got to know what it takes. You've got to read your prospectus, get to know what it takes, so that you can work deliberately towards that. And if you are in the humanities or social sciences, or in any order, when you get your assignments, you've got to read the feedback that's written in your assignments. And then you said you also have to identify people who are doing well in your class, so that you can talk to them and learn from them in terms of what is it that they're doing, how are they writing their essay. So then you get a sense what makes an 80% essay. Because you're reading an essay of someone who got an 80%. Don't just look at yours, you look at other people's. I think that's good advice. What else goes into the strategy, Prim?
So one thing also that goes into your strategy is you have to know yourself. When do you have the most energy? And so that you know where to put your effort. So, you know, like if you work better during the day, put most of your academics there, like especially your studying and whatnot, you know. If you work better during the night, then you know that you're going to have to be that person who spends less nights on the streets, because if you're going to go use that energy on the streets when you have the most energy to study, then it's not going to help you. Or you should know when to come back, you know, or what time to go out after having actually studied. So it's actually possible to be like, I want to be hanging out, but until 11 p.m., I'm going to be doing my work, you know?
Yeah.
If you know that during the day you're useless, like myself, you know, during the day I just focused on going to the lectures and tasks because that was mandatory. But I didn't try to go into the labs and now like do research so that I can say I put in these hours when I know that I'm not going to be effective.
Yeah.
So another thing is to also know yourself. I don't think it's possible to be tired all the time, but maybe some people are, but try and find something to push you. Even just the fact that you came, you started, aim to finish. And also, I think one other thing I tried to do deliberately was to say, I used to look at the assignments, when are they due, and tried my best to do them well ahead of time. You know, this thing is of, I'm going to be doing everything the night before. I don't know what percentage of people who work last minute or work apparently under pressure actually manage to pull through well. So personally, I used to finish my stuff like 2 days before. So the next 2 days, I'm like just adding on or editing and whatnot. And in the world we live in, I don't know why, Prof. Like electricity, computers, all these things, internet, they tend to go down when you need them the most, you know? So at least if work is pre-done, then it's fine, you know? Yeah. So I think that's also another thing that I try to do deliberately. And also on assignments, you have to know what's more important than the other, what's more difficult for you, because you have different abilities within courses. So try and actually put in more time where you are struggling, rather than spending like 6 hours on a paper that you can easily write in 3 hours. Yeah. So self-awareness continuously, and then choosing to focus more energy and time where you are lagging behind. I feel that really helped me.
That's useful. Know yourself. When you are effective, what you're strong in, what you're not so strong in, when you work better. That's excellent advice. So it makes sense that you, when you took the side hustle because it was during the day, and you know that during the day you are not so effective. So you do the side hustle, you earn some money, and then at night or other times, that's when you work. That's really useful. And I see someone is saying that they wish they got this advice before they started at university. That's that's really, really nice feedback, Drew. I'm hoping that many first years are listening, because it's not late yet. They can still decide now to get their strategy working, because it's not too late. This first term hasn't ended, and they can still get things right. But did you ever fail at all? A test? Whilst you were here?
So I don't want to lie. The lowest mark I ever got was the 50%, but it hurt me. It was the first year, first assignment for politics, the introduction to politics course, you know. I found the task easy when it came, easy by like I could scoop that 60 or 65 I was looking for, you know. And I understood everything that was said in lectures. I actually practiced referencing, because we get like -10% for bad referencing. So I had that set, you know.
Yeah.
And apparently my work was substandard, but it goes back to what I was saying, that I used to scrape through theory. Like I would just be like, I just want to throw it in there, but I wasn't engaging in depth. So that really hit me hard. So I've never failed an assignment. In varsity.
That's cool. Wow, you are goals. Someone is talking about time management. How important is time management? You never had a problem of procrastination, like, managing your time. Did you have a study timetable, or you just worked on it, as you feel?
So I did try to schedule my work. And what I tried to do was, apart from like having a monthly plan based on what you have, assignments and whatnot, every week I would plan out. I think the UCT library had this thing where like there's different days of the week and you plan what you put into the week. So I try to do that, because days are different. Sometimes you have more classes, sometimes you have less, some days you have a lot of tutorials. So on the days that I had less work to do in terms of like what is prescribed, then I tried to do more in terms of like just self-study. There are times obviously when like there's a lot of pressure. So unfortunately for me, I was doing 2 majors within one department in politics, and they liked putting their essay deadlines on the same days. And it was your own, place to like choose how you're going to write it, which one you submit first and whatnot. So obviously doing that, I really struggled, but I tried to make time for both. And another thing is to be flexible. You realize you come to a time when like you have a test and have other things to do. So you will know what's more important. You will know where your average stands usually, or you will know that you are better at practicing for tests and struggle with assignments. Personally, for me, I'm a strong writer, but I struggle with being asked questions on the spot. So I spent more time preparing for tests, and then I knew that when writing time came, I could just come up with a draft for something. Sometimes you feel tired. I don't know if people know what writer's block is, but it's just like sometimes you know what to write or you want to write, but your body or your mind tells you that you can't write in the moment. So what I usually did or found helpful was I would like take a recorder like my phone or take pen and paper and just write down my ideas or what I'm thinking. So then I'm cheating my mind because my mind is not sitting in front of a desktop in the library trying to write an introduction, I'm doing something that seems casual. But then I can then listen to that recording and try to start writing, I can then look at the paper where I was scribbling and then it's a starting point. So finding ways of, yes, I can't do this now, but then jumping into it. But personally, I fear failure. Like, I don't know. Like in the moment, I'm just like, you can't not write. You would rather write and then work from that sketch. So I usually had Word documents that like have one sentence, ... the next sentence, ... like spaces, put an example here, add this here. But to just try and work on it somehow helps. Yeah.
Okay. Nice strategy. Nice strategy. Have you ever struggled with mental health, Prim?
I have, big time, So actually, I think second year for me was very good. It was balanced because I added so much into what I was doing. But it was also a time when I felt like I was struggling because now I was very much aware of like, I now want to actually proceed further with my studies. Initially, like I knew honors was there, but I didn't even know that I wanted to do honors. So I struggled a lot because I lost family members, couldn't go back home to bury them or pay my last respects. And then also I think academically, there's a time when like I was pushing forward, you can enjoy getting like, let's say 80s, then all of a sudden they give you a 72. You're like, what's going on? You crash. And then there's a time when I actually went in for a shift where I was working, and then my boss was just like, you need to go to wellness. And I was like, what? Me? Start being asked, tell us about your life. How did you grow up and whatnot? I was like, I'm not about that life, But I went to student wellness and, actually managed to get help. Sometimes it's not even about having a specific problem. Sometimes you just drain. And having someone who's different to speak to helps. I tend to hide a lot of my problems from my family. Like if my parents ask, I'm like, school is going great. Everything is amazing. That time, things aren't going, So because if I'm stressed, my mom is stressed and her prayers are all about, please be with Prim. So I don't want that, But this different person, you can open up. They're also not your friend because maybe your friends are doing well and then when now you're struggling. Or your friends are like, why are you complaining about 60? I'm getting 50. So you need sometimes to just have that kind of different person. And sometimes even like, I think when I was experiencing some kind of writer's block, and also last year, especially, even though I'm a PhD student, I was so stuck indoors and like work wasn't going. And I was like, I just need to book this appointment. Let's just go online, and speak to someone. So there are times when I've gone through challenges. During the master's, when I tried to do my master's in 1 year, which worked out, I was mostly isolated from people because I was just trying to do this, you know. I think I was sleeping like at least 4 hours a day and it wasn't really helpful. So it came a time when I literally like I packed my bags. I was like, my parents would just see me at home. And I was like, no, can't. Let me just find someone to speak to. You know, let me speak to my supervisor and ask for how else can I do this and whatnot. So there are times when I had sort of like breakdowns, but I didn't like really fall back. I tried to come back up. And I think the thing with help is that if help is not sought, it usually doesn't come. So
Yes.
you need to seek it.
Yeah. So which means you never waited for things to get worse with your mental wellness. The minute you felt that you're sinking, you went for help so that before it becomes too big.
Yes,
You,
definitely.
you just connected to student wellness and at least tell someone so that you get help. It's an
Yeah.
interesting perspective of not telling your parents. I mean, I can understand. I can understand. Some people tell their parents first, and in your view, you felt you don't want to tell, you don't want to stress them, and then
They're
you're asked.
probably finding out today that I've been to student wellness if they're watching. So yeah, that's how bad it is.
No, at this stage, if they find out, it's okay. I mean, you are a doctor. I mean, it really doesn't matter, Dr. Bima. It doesn't matter. Now, let's go to Mjolo. Now that the parents are listening, let's go to Mjolo. What about Mjolo? I mean, did you go on dates? Did you kiss somebody? Like in the whole many years from first year to PhD? Or did you say, I ain't kissing anybody until I become Dr. Bima?
So that's very interesting. First year I was on that. I came here for the books, you know, coming out of like, I was just like, hell no, you know, I was not going to do that stuff. So I did entertain people, always had my mean mug face of like, you don't start with me, you know, you don't talk to me. So, and whoever was tried even to be like a friend, like I kept them at proper arm's length, not even this thing of friend zoning people. They are close enough for when I need them. No, like it was not about that life, you know?
Yeah.
At some point, like towards my third year, because I was engaging a lot and I had now achieved like balance. I knew how to manage everything. Like actually saw time in my schedule, you know? And I entertained like going on dates, meeting up with people. But then I realized that if you go emotionally down because someone has disappointed you, you might even crash. You will
Yes.
struggle to see what's in front of you in a computer. Like it's the worst thing ever. So I was just like, my third year can't be going like this, you know? So I really felt that it bothered me a lot. So
Uh,
going into postgrad, I was like, I am not touching Jolo. Like I am not doing it. Because for me, I was like, I would rather defer because when I get out of the streets, there will be someone, there will be people. Rather than now trying to manage heartbreak after heartbreak or trying to invest a lot in people, I was just like, no, you know? And I think personally for me, the idea is around most of the people that you meet, especially at the early stages, people are just looking for temporary companionship to enjoy in life and make certain experiences. So if we can do that, if we're part of a hiking club or part of like a group that goes too long every other time, that's fine. But to me, to be like committing to brother so and so, I was like, hell no, that's not happening. That's how I got here today.
There you go, guys. You got it from Prim. She put Mjolo on hold. We're not gonna ask where is it going off hold, but man, at least
Yes.
we're not gonna ask. We're not gonna ask, but at least we get in. I mean, you're right though. If you're going to get emotionally involved with someone, if it works, it's great. But if it doesn't work, it unravels everything. Like you suddenly can't study, you can't focus, you can't whatever. So if you're gonna get involved in Jolo, you've got to make sure that you can handle it. Otherwise, don't. Just focus on your books because then then at least you know you're safe. Um, and then church. Are you a church person? You were going to church a lot? I'm trying to get your, like, what are the ingredients that work? I mean, we can see you come from a strong family. you even think for them, not to stress them, whatever, and your dad is a clear guy, no manga business, you must focus, not with my money, whatever. Did you have a church community around here that you went to, that you fellowshipped with?
So I've got family in Cape Town, like an aunt and her family. So most of the time I would engage with them and then go to church, or with my uncle and then with their church as well. I did become part of his people at some point at UCT. That really helped because sometimes I was just like, I can't wake up in the morning. Then I missed the 11 o'clock service. I missed the lunchtime service because that's when I was like waking up. So it was very flexible because I could do evenings. I could go like different times of the day. And that also is sort of like, it worked for me because I think some services are tailored to students because it's a student church. For me, it was so much better than going to like these other churches where obviously most of the content would be tailored around these are family services, these are services for like, a different type of target market. So I also tried deliberately to go to services that were targeted at students and also to engage with people there. There are times, however, I can tell you where like I went for a semester without having seen church. Like I think third year, final year of my undergraduate studies, I was mostly focusing on now I need to excel, now I need to finish XYZ. I want to make sure I get into my honors. So throughout that phase, I don't want to call it backsliding because I was praying, I was reading my Bible, I was watching stuff, but I was just like, I can't get out of this space. I felt like that 1 hour that turns into 3 hours because afterwards you chat to people and interact was just gonna mess up my schedule. So there are times when it was like a bit different. Now with online services, I feel like it's like you have MS Teams the whole week, you have Zoom the whole week, then now also church online. It's been a mess, but then I still value that because I do get some form of motivation and encouragement from it. So I'm really happy about that.
Okay, that's cool. So Prim, we have about 6 minutes, and I want to imagine if we gave you. Do you have any other young people that you are mentoring?
So at the moment, I don't have specific people I mentor. My cousins obviously are fortunate because I'm just there and I'm like, do this, do that. And I don't know if this has worked, but like most people are like, we also want to go to UCT. So now you see the whole family trying to come to UCT because I went there, even if you're trying to convince them to do other things. So I think I have not really mentored people outside the students that I tutor, that I'm a teaching assistant for. That's me at the moment. When I was doing my second and third year at UCT also, there's a faculty mentorship program. So I was a mentor within the faculty. So that's the one time when I actually got undergraduate students to work with and also help because I had been someone's mentee before. So I definitely signed up for that.
All right. Now you are now teaching first years. You're a teaching assistant for first years, Paul Sai. And of course, it's an interesting course. It attracts the attention of the whole country.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So do you give them other tips for managing their studies, or you focus just on them nailing the Paul Sai? I mean, what I understand is that it's an intellectually demanding course. The students have to do a lot of reading in that course. So you can't get into that course and slack around. That's what I've heard students say, that you get in there, you must study, otherwise you are going to fail. It's a showcase. How do you help them managing this course?
Okay, so I must admit, I think Introduction to Politics is probably one of the most failed courses in our faculty. So it's definitely very demanding, And what I do try to do, because there's an advantage to being a teaching assistant where you sort of like get to interact with all the tutors that are on the course. So we get like overall comments, students are struggling with this. Then I know that, this might require me to create a lecture video where I'm literally showing students how to search the UCT Library website, how to find sources on Google Scholar, what does an essay look like in terms of structure, because simply telling people you have to have introduction, main body, conclusion, they're still stuck, So I've been trying to use some of those tools that are online so that students can do that. And then within tutorial spaces, I try to say to people, it's Monday, think of ideas around this topic and this particular reading. So that when you come and I'm having a conversation with you, and then I'm maybe like referring to, if you check page 50 of this author, this is what this means and whatnot, you can be able to follow through. So that's also to say, I'm going to try and do what seems like spoon feeding, but you can't benefit from it, if you haven't done the reading beforehand, if you haven't like listened to the lectures. So I think so far, those are some of the ways that we're trying to mitigate, that challenge. And I'm not sure if it's working. We can only tell probably at the end of the semester, but I do think students appreciate that. Okay. During one of our last sessions, I think in the 4th or 5th week, there was also a time I was just like to people, can you take a paper, write down wherever you are? Because our tasks are on Microsoft Teams, so I can speak to them. Write down on a paper, how are you feeling about the course? Where are you so far? What do you know? What do you think you don't know? Who have you asked for help and whatnot? And at the end of the session, I was like, just look at that paper. How has it helped you? And think about how you're going to apply that. And people did respond in the chat to be like, I feel much better and I feel like I know where to go than to just think I'm stuck and then not think how to, get unstuck and move forward.
That's great. That's great. Seems like you're taking your teaching seriously as well. Are you doing your research, postdoctoral research?
So that has been a struggle because I love students. I even struggled through PhD even though I finished in 3 years because I love students. I would literally be like, this month is essay month. I'm going to be focusing on helping students, Yeah. So I do love teaching a lot. Regarding my research, it's fine because I'm going to be doing most of my projects based on my thesis. So it's just literally revisiting my chapters, thinking about how to develop them. And I'm also now more open to writing more like opinion pieces as opposed to stuff that's academic. So I do have that leeway sometimes to just, write something that is more opinion based. That's the benefit of being, postdoc. People now value your opinions, and unlike an undergraduate. So I do have space and time for that. And, I feel like now my life is more like wholesome. I now have experience with balancing stuff, with knowing when to sacrifice what. So that's where I'm at the moment.
Okay. And do you see yourself as an academic in the future? Is that what you building an academic career?
Definitely. I feel like for me, academia was definitely a calling, because when I was a kid, I used to say to my mom, I want to go to university. I don't know why, but she still says it to this day. And then when I was 15 years old, I used to be like, I want to be a doctor of literature because I was a writer, but I didn't know how you get there. I thought you become a doctor of literature, like you get called to your university, they're like, we like your books, and then you're doc. But obviously, coming to varsity, I learned that you can actually work towards doing a PhD. And because I now knew my focus was on international relations, then it had to be in that. So definitely academia is for me. I want to be a thought leader. I want to be recognized intellectual. Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Fantastic. Prim, it's been really, really good talking to you. You are such a queen. They've called you queen. You are goals. You are flames, everything. Keep it that way. Keep it that way. You make us proud to be women. And I wish you everything of the best. I have no doubt that you will succeed with that kind of focus and commitment and hard work. I'm sure you will. Right. Thank you so much for coming online with me today.
Thank you, Prof, and thank you so much to everyone. I wish you all the best.
And I hope you've been reading the comments, right? Have you been reading
I struggle to follow this. I see some of them, but I haven't been following step by step. Yeah. Yes. I'm also not a multitasker, so I dedicate time for this, time for that. So yeah.
Okay. I can tell you that they are absolutely amazing. And that's because you are. So thank you very much. Even if you don't get to read them, because I think when I close, they disappear, the ones that they are writing. I want you to know that they are all so positive. So I'm really grateful that you agreed to come with me online.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Have a good week.
Bye. Same to you.
Thank you. All right, guys, I hope you learned much from Prue. I mean, wasn't she amazing? Wasn't Prue just amazing? Just amazing. I'm going to say goodbye to people on Facebook. Thank you very much for joining us. You didn't talk much today on Facebook, but I hope you benefited a lot from our conversation. We'll see you next week. On Twitter, thank you so much. We didn't cut today, which is wonderful. Thank you very much for joining us. And then Instagram. Thank you. You guys are always, always super, super amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. And they're saying you're so pretty. Thank you, Portia. We can see the nice comments. Thank you guys. Have a good week. Bye, Prue. Bye, Prim.
Bye.